Hey guys, it's that time. It's halfway through March, which means I need to do a Kickstarter news video for you guys so you can get caught up on all the things that I've been tracking when it comes to our little space in the board game industry. Now, I have some good things and some bad things to talk about as typical, but I don't want to end on the bad things, so I'm actually going to end this video with the coming soon section where I'll be announcing all the games that I'm looking forward to that are coming soon, very soon. Alright, so let's get started. First up, I just want to say that if you appreciate these videos and keeping you up to date and all the effort that it takes to do this, I'm actually recording this after a 12-hour workday. Just wanted to let you know that I am putting the effort into it, and if you appreciate it, just let me know. I always love hearing it from you guys, whether it's a comment, whether it's just a like, a share, a subscription, anything like that. I love the community that I'm in, and I'm happy to do it for you guys. All right, so starting out, Steam Watchers by Mythic Games. It is in its final hours. Like, by the time I'm posting this, there's a couple hours left. So if you are interested, if you didn't look at it, if you're waiting to look at it at the very end to see what's all available, now's your time. Link in the description below to check that out. That being said, so it has a bit less than 300,000 at the time of recording, which is about the same that happened with Enchanter's East Quest. So there's these two small campaigns, and I don't know how much they planned this. Mainly because they've had such great success before. It's a little odd, and I wonder if some of it's just because of the theme, because it's very similar to DEI, and I'm wondering if these winter post-apocalyptic dudes on a map Euro-style sort of games just aren't doing as well. Because I really like DEI, and I know they play different. They have a very similar theme and a look and feel to it. But a part of it also might be because of the kind of the visible contract dispute they have with Joan of Arc 1.5, or because they're so slow in delivering. Like, I still haven't got my Reich Busters. I only just got my Joan of Arc Wave 2. Literally this month I got my JOA Wave 2. So, expect an unboxing of that soon, but boy, is it late. So I don't know if that's it. I'm not sure. It's kind of interesting. So I'll keep an eye on it and maybe do a video on more about it once I know, or I'll at least include it in there. I'll keep you guys up to date on my thoughts on that. But that being said, again, final hour, so if you are interested, be sure to check it out. Additionally, Order of the Vampire Hunters soundtrack Kickstarter launched March 10th and has 10 days to go. This is for the soundtrack, but really it's for the warehouse full of inventory that they are selling. There are still some, not all-ins, but there's some close to all-ins available last I saw. So if you were interested in the Marvel Hunters soundtrack, or the Marvel Hunters game proper, and you didn't back on Kickstarter the first time, now's your chance. I know, speaking with Darkgate Games, that they do want to actually do a reprint at some point, so it's just a matter of time. But for now, they're able to do this and actually get some of that out to people who have been wanting it, so they're not paying scalper prices, preferably. When it comes to the PM's ending, the Arquise Pledge Manager ends June 30th. That is one that I'm looking forward to a lot. I just think it's a very unique looking game, and I appreciate the Egyptian steampunk theme. I think that's fairly unique too. And then Storm Thunder came out, but it's more fantasy, less steampunk. Oathsworn Into the Deepwood, its Pledge Manager ends March 31st, so that's very soon. This was a huge game, a big hit for me, and I think most of you that follow me, I think we're all kind of like-minded in that. Obviously, it's not for everyone, but seriously, like, the amount of people that I know that are interested in that, that tend to like the things I like, also liked this, especially when they played it. I played it with a few of my patrons, and they all fully backed afterwards. It's a great game. That PM ends March 31st, so if you're wanting to add on to it, if you're wanting to get it and you just hadn't yet, or you're waiting for your opportunity, it's gonna end soon, so. Speaking of narrative games and pledge managers, the Storm Thunder late pledge opened, and so if you are interested in backing that, you can still do that through the pledge manager. It's gonna be open until they're ready to ship the Wave 1, which will be in 2021, so just next year, the normal year thing where you'll get that. And so you can always just pledge for that, and then if you like the game, the pledge manager will reopen for Wave 2. So they're kind of easing you into it, so you don't have to give it all at once if you don't need to. All right, so you guys have been asking. I should talk about coronavirus. So here I am saying the word. And, it is affecting things. Whether or not it should or not, it's debatable. I think right now is a smart time. Anything close by is probably smart. So because of that, the CMON Expo was actually canceled this year. A lot of the major events where a lot of people are gathering together in, close quarters and interacting with each other a lot around this time of year are pretty much all canceling. So Adepticon, it also canceled, so there will not be an Adepticon this year. Also, E3 did for the video game world, so there's that. Though I think that makes a little bit more sense just because you could just go digital. I mean, everybody's just going to stream it anyway, so there's less impact there. You don't get the interviews and stuff like that. It's still good to see people in person, but you can just follow along for the most part. And, E3 has been kind of waning anyway. But, that brings the question, what about Gen Con? Well, Gen Con made an update and they said, hey, right now we don't have plans, but we'll let you know. And I think that makes sense because it's so much farther out. So when it comes, towards early August, when it's actually going on, ideally this is pretty much blown over by then. And really, when I talk about blown over, I just want to say that don't freak out. I mean, obviously don't do anything stupid. Don't like go and hug a whole bunch of people. Don't be doing that. But you don't need to be glaring at people that sneeze in the grocery store either. At this point, you have a higher chance of dying in a car crash on your way to the grocery store than you do of being infected. And then even if you are infected, most of us have a 1% or less chance of dying from it. Unless you're like in your 80s, you're probably okay. So, yeah, it's nasty stuff. No, you don't need to freak out, though. There's no need for that. Let me have my normal toilet paper. I don't want to be buying $18 toilet paper rolls anymore just because that's the only thing left because everybody bought the cheap stuff. I mean, I don't like to go cheap with my toilet paper. I mean, you got to treat yourself right. But I don't need gold leaf toilet paper either. So ideally, we can get some toilet paper back. Ideally, we can get some Lysol wipes back. And ideally, we can have some common decency where we don't glare at people in public back just for sneezing. All right, that's all I want to say about that. Just don't freak out, but be smart, I guess. And yeah, anything that is cool that's happening now is being canceled. So there's that too. Okay, speaking of CMON and their expo, CMON the game, they are now offering a 2-wave shipment option for Marvel United. How considerate of them that they would announce afterwards, hey, you can pay extra to get wave 2. That's really kind of them. Now, it happened to coincide with the fact that they're saying, hey, by the way, this is going to be in retail in August. So if you want to buy August, you can just pay us some extra to have it shipped to you. But I'm sure that's not why. I'm sure they did it because they were just trying to give options to their consumers. And that's why they announced it after the Kickstarter so that, everybody's so that after everybody, paid the money, you then are like, oh, by the way, this will be in, in retail. And also you can pay extra to have it at the same time. So, it's one of those things where if it had been before, it wouldn't have looked so bad. I'm not saying that they necessarily did it just for that. And in fact, I would have been complaining here. It's kind of, they put themselves in this situation. I don't know what to tell you, man. It's like, I would have been here yelling at them if it released at retail and everybody that backed on Kickstarter has to wait because they're not willing to ship it to them beforehand. In fact, I complained about that their last campaign when they released it to retail, and it's like, hey, if you wanted to go retail, you get it sooner. You'll have to wait longer. This is Starcadia I'm talking about, to actually get it because you were a Kickstarter backer. So you helped support us early on and put your trust into us and all that kind of stuff and paid this extra money. We'll give it to you after retail. Yeah, we have all these copies, but we're going to send it to the retailers, not you. So I complained about that. And here I am complaining about them saying, hey, we'll send it to you at the same time. And if it wasn't the whole, we're going to run the campaign and then after it ends, we're going to offer this option, that it just, I don't think CMON can actually look good. They make some great games. The last 2 years, I've given them my game of the year. I love a lot of their games. But the company? Man, they just, I don't get it. I guess they just don't care, or they're so detached from us as consumers that they don't understand us and what we want, which is like common decency. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, they do have 2-wave shipping now. So if you want it the same time as other people that didn't back it on Kickstarter and pay extra for it, you can pay even more to your extra. And actually, that's going to lead me on to 2 things. First is just a quick little thing. I've already talked about this a little bit, but there are 3 main reasons you should ever back a Kickstarter. exclusive content. You can think of it as either a collector's edition or just a rare item. Either one kind of works. In other words, you're getting stuff you can't get otherwise. So it's kind of like this elite version. I actually view it a lot like video game collector editions, where you get the fancy statue, and you got this other stuff and all these doodads and the steel case and these, DLC things that are just little things, but you can't get them otherwise, or, whatever. So there's that. You either get it for, the exclusiveness of it. You get it for the price. In other words, it's cheaper. A lot of times it's like, hey, at retail, this would cost a lot, and so we're offering it cheaper. Or because you get it sooner. In other words, hey, you could wait with everybody else, or you could get it sooner by backing the Kickstarter, and we'll get you there first. Ideally, perfect storm, if a no-brainer Kickstarter is one that does all three, where you're getting more, you're getting it for cheaper, and you're getting it quicker. That you're checking all the boxes. If you have done that as a developer on Kickstarter, you have done Kickstarter right, as far as I'm concerned. That is so pro-consumer. There are so many benefits to us for that it's just awesome. You don't see it very often. Normally you get 2. Sometimes you only get 1, or if you back a CMON game, you barely get 1. So you get the exclusive, right? Usually they'll always, even if it's a retail pack, they'll stick a single mini in there as a kind of a FOMO Kickstarter exclusive miniature, so you get like 1 extra character. They did it with like Death May Die and stuff like that. But the thing to realize is, even if they say, oh, this is like $10 off MSRP, that first of all, you will never get a sale on Kickstarter. That is the price. Whereas retail, you can have sales, but you're paying for shipping. And as we all know, shipping is $40 or more at this point. And so you're actually paying more because you have to pay for it to ship. When you go to your friendly local gaming store and buy it off the shelf, you didn't have to pay for it to ship. It's just at MSRP. And I guarantee the $10 would actually, more for the MSRP, even if you did buy it right away, would be less than the shipping you'd have to do. And now lately you get it afterwards. So now if you're retail, you get it for cheaper and you get it sooner. So the only reason to ever back a Kickstarter game from CMON is to get those exclusives. There is no other reason you should do it. You don't save money and you don't get it sooner. And even if you want to get it at the same time, theoretically, they have to ship it to you, whereas retail, it's just launched and it's there. In other words, it's already sitting there in their warehouses and it's already been distributed. It's not like they're like launch and then have to ship it to the retailers. They have it and ready to put on their shelf. So you might get it a little bit after or around the same time as retail, but you're having to pay even extra on top of the extra you have already paid. If you bought Marvel United on Kickstarter, you paid more than anybody in retail will. It's just that simple. But especially with the shipping on those big boxes, with all those miniatures, especially because they're putting like 4 minis in a big old box just to make it seem bigger, I guess. I don't know. They're doing that whole thing, which just makes you pay more for shipping at this point, and it takes more shelf space. I'm against that too, but I've ranted on this enough. Anyway, that's just it. Only buy a CMON Kickstarter if you want those exclusives. Otherwise, don't touch them. It's a waste of your money and your time. Okay, moving on from that, I just wanted to quickly say that right after I read this, Reddit post kind of talking about it, and then I went and read their update and kind of looked at comments there on Kickstarter and all that kind of stuff, and kind of tried to feel my way, because I didn't back that game, so I'm just trying to feel where everything is. I got an update from Drop Top. They're the people who are doing the little Citadel paint pot things where you can actually kind of squeeze top them, so it kind of makes them into a bottler and you don't have to re-transplant them or anything like that, which is cool. And this is a quote I'm going to read to you directly from their update. As a Kickstarter backer, you are on our priority list for shipping out your rewards first. Any pre-orders we receive will only go out once all of our Kickstarter have received their pledges. Now that is an awesome quote. Do you know how awesome that is to read that as a backer, knowing that, hey, you made this possible, you gave us this money and gave us this faith, and we've made a promise to you, and we're going to keep it, and we're going to make sure that we do right. So even if somebody comes in there, big money bags, and pre-orders 1,000 of them, let's say, with something crazy like that, maybe a painting studio, that they're going to say, you know what? No, our Kickstarter people come first. They were here first. They did it in time. They're the ones that made this possible. We're going to do that. Everybody else afterwards. That's cool. It's just such a world of difference between reading that update by CMON and reading the update by Drop Top. I just thought that was kind of funny. Okay, all right, enough negativity, enough me yelling. Let's look at some cool stuff coming soon. Wolfenstein The Kickstarter launches March 31st. A link in the description below to their kind of newsletter page thing where you can get a link to their preview page. I'm sure when that goes up, Archon normally puts up a preview page for us to see it all so that, we can actually see what's going on. I'm sure that's coming up here soon. It's a little early because it's right at the end of the month, and I will be doing a review of that. I did a unboxing of it, so if you want to see that, again, linked in the description below. There's also, by White Wizard Games, a deck building game called Robot Quest. I don't know much about that except that it's a deck building game. You use your battery to power up stuff and do stuff like that. But the important part is that it looks really freaking adorable. In fact, I think that looks way cuter than the Starcadia Robots expansion, which I didn't get. And I probably should have, because my understanding is kind of like the Pets expansion, but I had already spent enough on Starcadia. Now I'm glad I didn't pay more. So anyway, Robot Quest will come to Kickstarter at some point. I don't know when. Next up is Down to Hell. This is be around April 1st. There's about 18 and a half days left or something like that before the Kickstarter goes live. It's kind of like Diablo. It's very obvious that the developers understand ARPGs and hack and slash, so they know about Wolcen, they know about, Path of Exile or Diablo or all this kind of stuff, right? And as a personal huge fan of the genre, it's one of the main reasons I actually backed Massive Darkness back in the day, because it looked like a dungeon romp where you're just going slaughtering a whole bunch of trash mobs just to get loot. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. Good gear grind and lots of death, right? Anyway, Down to Hell looks kind of similar. Now, I don't know a whole lot about that. I'm not really pushing it. I'm just letting you know, hey, it's there. And if you want to take a closer look, again, link in the description below to some of their stuff. Now, the big elephant in the room, Frosthaven, if you weren't aware, is March 24th. Yeah, that's soon. That's quick. So that's going to be a thing, and I'm sure it's going to be huge because Gloomhaven's huge, because people love them some Gloomhaven. I have not bought Gloomhaven, nor have I played Gloomhaven. It hasn't looked very appealing to me. The world looks kind of The minis look really and the grindiness of it, or the seemingly grindiness of it, makes me very wary. So Frosthaven has 100 scenarios. There's no way I'm ever playing 100 scenarios of any game, even my very favorite game. So I'll never play all those scenarios. And honestly, I'm reading the Wheel of Time books right now. By the way, I just finished Path of Daggers, and I don't need another slog of a fantasy story. Tell your darn story. Let's have some plot points here. 100 scenarios, my goodness. Anyway, that's March 24th. It's going to be huge, and I'm not saying the game's bad. It's just not for me, personally. I don't have a desire for that. Lastly, Sheol prototype unboxing soon. They will be sending me a prototype this month. I will be doing an unboxing. I will be doing a review, and the Kickstarter will follow soon after. We are getting close. They have already, I'm not saying any dates because they didn't tell me to say any dates, but it's coming up. So be on the lookout for Sheol, because I know that's one you guys have been asking about. It's one I've been looking out at for. That city miniature looks crazy. I can't imagine that painted. That look incredible. It's just as a display piece, right? That's where I get half these games, for display pieces anyway. All right, guys, that's all I have. That's it. That's my update. If I missed anything, if there's anything important, let us all know in the comments below. Not just for me, though I'll read every single comment down there, but also just for everybody else to see too. I'll be sure to, pin anything super relevant or heart everything, or, whatever it takes. Just let's make this a place where we can actually kind of keep track of all this craziness, especially with the whole coronavirus thing and cancellations and stuff like that. Yeah. And if I missed a game coming out, let me know directly, and I'll take a look into it and see if it's something that I need to be covering or not. All right, guys, have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I've had a very long day here, and I still have to edit this video and add some pretty images for you guys and a thumbnail and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up and do that, and then I'll probably pass out. All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you very, very soon.